All right, guys. I guess today's going to kind of be a crypto video, and we'll talk about some other things like the car loan situation. Jamie Dimon talking about Trump, calling out all the liberals. We're going to talk about the Coinbase SEC litigation that's going on right now. But overall, like I said, I expected January to be a boring month. And I've been right so far. I mean, there's really not much going on. The only news in crypto right now is essentially the SEC versus Coinbase. As far as price action, we're pretty much the same spot we've been for the last couple of weeks. There's very little interest. There's very little volume. Bitcoin barely can make it above 42,000 at this point. You know, like I said yesterday, Bitcoin was at 49,000. Sell the news. Right down to 41.5. That's a pretty big dump. That's a pretty big dump, guys. And this is your typical crypto stuff, and I fully expect us to be in this range for at least the next couple weeks, maybe even a couple months, just as we get ready for that Bitcoin halving. As far as your altcoins, I mean, Solana's really been showing kind of some strength. Above 100 yesterday, now above 197. XRP 56. Cardano was at like 51, 52. I mean, I guess everything's really just kind of stagnant. I think stagnant's the word. So let's talk about some other stuff. I was talking about. Well, first we'll talk about the SEC Coinbase hearing because that's really the only news going on right now. It does look like Coinbase kind of has the upper hand. The judge is extremely skeptical on. The whole everything's a security, which of course the SEC is trying to say. Here's the article. U.S. judge questions SEC limit during Coinbase hearing. A federal judge expressed fear Wednesday that the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has cast too wide a net with its recent interpretation of securities laws. Counsels from both sides in the SEC's case against Coinbase appeared before a federal judge in Manhattan Wednesday to argue why the case should or should not continue. So, I mean, really nothing new. Apparently they had some sort of like closing arguments yesterday. I think the judge has up to a month or a couple weeks to make a decision. I guess technically it could go either way, but it does look like the judge is kind of a little fed up with the SEC. And if you look at the overall track record of the SEC, it hasn't been good. This is a very important case, but regardless of what happens, it'll probably still drag out for another year. So I'm not too worried about it. Other thing I want to talk about is Jamie Dimon. Jamie Dimon, and this is on CNN, and I also have some video. I made a video yesterday saying I don't dislike Jamie Dimon. He's warning people about Bitcoin because Bitcoin does have its risks. Okay, we all know it does. We all know if grandma gets into Bitcoin, she's going to lose all her money. She's going to get some hackers going to steal her private keys. We have no idea who Satoshi is. It's risky, but there's money to be made, and that's all Jamie Dimon was saying. But he's your typical rich prick, and he kind of says it like an asshole. But he's kind of like what you call an alpha male, like Andrew Tate. I always hate the term alpha male. I think it's just stupid, but alpha male. Well, that would be Jeremy Dimon. He basically says what's on his mind. He's worth $1 billion. He doesn't give a shit. But here it is right here. I found this interesting because I always wondered, is Jamie Dimon like a big liberal Democrat guy or he's like a Republican? He's a Republican. He's a Trump guy. Here he is. Jamie Dimon has a warning for Democrats. Don't dismiss Trump supporters as people who are exclusively attracted to his personality. Former President Donald Trump was right about some critical issues, the JP Morgan CEO says. I wish the Democrats would think a little more carefully when they talk about MAGA. And I agree with that. Like when Trump first started running for office, I never liked Trump before he ran for office. I always thought he was kind of an asshole. I wasn't big into reality shows. And he just didn't interest me. And then as soon as he ran for office and I started seeing his policies, I was just like, I love every one of his policies. And he will actually stand up to Democrats. One of the times it clicked in my head where I'm voting for Trump, I was talking shit about that Iraq war for 10 years. And I said that kind of as a Republican. I thought it was stupid. It was a waste of money. And every Republican, even some of my friends, were afraid to admit it. They didn't even want to admit it because it was such a failure, that Iraq war. They couldn't admit it. And Donald Trump went right up to Jeb Bush and said, your brother's an idiot. And that war was a travesty. And he got boos. People were booing him in the Republican audience. And Trump just didn't give a crap. He's like, well, I don't care. Boo me all you want. I think he said that's your donors or something like that, whatever he says. And people gave Trump a lot of respect for that. And he actually got people like me who are more so in the middle, people in my family who are more so in the middle who would vote for Obama. He brought them onto the table, and he actually turned them into MAGA people because it's a make America great again. And that's what has to happen in America because America really is going down the tubes. And you even see that with things like Boeing. I mean, it really does suck. Boeing's now a piece of shit. Every American car manufacturer is a piece of shit. They all make shitty cars. Everything made in America sucks. I mean, it's embarrassing. So here's Jamie Dimon right here. And kudos to him because I kind of thought he would be afraid to say anything like pro-Trump, since he's, the CEO of JP Morgan. But I think this is important to hear some honesty coming from these guys.
Just take a step back, be honest. He was kind of right about NATO, kind of right about immigration. Mm-hmm. He grew the economy quite well.
China virus.
Tax reform worked. Mm-hmm. He was right about some of China. I don't like what he did.
No, I said China virus.
Yeah, I understand. He may have been right. And I don't like how he said things in Mexico. I don't like, but he wasn't wrong about some of these critical issues, and that's why they're voting for him.
That's why they're voting for him, Johanna. You agree with that?
Right, and that's 100%. And it really is refreshing to see that from Jamie Dimon. If you were to ask me this time last week, what do you think about Jamie Dimon? I'd say, kind of an asshole, whatever. But now I'm kind of thinking like this. I like this guy, and I'm not going to dislike Jamie Dimon just because he's warning people about Bitcoin. Like I said about Bitcoin and crypto, I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 5-10 years Bitcoin goes to zero. It would not surprise me if I wake up in 5 years and the headline is Bitcoin hacked, Satoshi wallet activated, Bitcoin zero. I wouldn't be surprised 1 second. That's why I so badly want this bull run to happen, and everything is going according to plan with this crypto bull run so far. By the end of summer, going into October, November, I really think we're going to be approaching those all-time highs for the altcoins, and that's when I'm looking to get out. Will I get back in next bull run in 3 or 4 years? I got to assess the situation, but I'm not going to say that right now. You got to be very careful with these cryptos because the risk is there. We don't know what's going to happen with the Satoshi wallet. We don't know what's going to happen with quantum computers. We don't know what's going to happen with hacks. So Jamie Dimon, I agree with everything he says, and he's not saying he doesn't want people to trade Bitcoin. He's just saying he doesn't recommend it. So I don't know why he's teamed up with a bunch of Democrats like Elizabeth Warren. I guess maybe they're old time friends. Who knows? But I like his personality. I think he's saying the right things. Another thing I want to talk about, which I've been kind of warning about this for a really long time, about the whole car market. It kind of started a couple years ago, maybe 2 years ago when COVID hit. I saw these car prices were going insane. Like my Mazda 3, which was worth like $9,000, went up to $15,000, and I had dealers begging me to sell it to them. My wife's CRV that she bought for like $25,000 was now worth $40,000. It's like, what is going on here? Now the prices have come down a little bit, but I started to see weird stuff, like average blue collar people, which is my world. I'm just a blue collar guy, buying these $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 cars and getting between $700 and $1,200 a month car payments on top of $300 a month auto insurance payments. And I've already seen some of my acquaintances have already gotten their cars repossessed, or they just basically gave the car back. So I feel like what's happening in the car market is probably the same thing that happened in the real estate market in 2008. I found this article, car repossessions are on the rise. Are you in danger of losing your ride? And there's a bunch of other articles as well. Like car repossessions are at all-time highs right now, and car loan defaults are at all-time highs. And a lot of this comes down to personal responsibility. I drive, I could afford cash, essentially any car I want. I could buy a Lamborghini cash if I wanted to. Now that would be most of my savings, but I could. And there are dumb people out there who would take if they had a couple $100,000 in their savings account, they would just buy a Lamborghini with it, because Americans are stupid. They care about the status. They think especially guys, they think girls really give a shit what you drive. I mean, they really don't. You know, I never had problems dating. I was always driving just these old cars, and I got plenty of hot girls back in the day. But you can get a nice car now. It'll still look nice. It'll still be reliable for under $10,000. I drive a 2015 Mazda 3 hatchback. It's a beautiful looking car. The thing's worth $8,000. It's $50 a month to insure it, and I look pretty cool in it. I'll pull up a picture of what it looks like. Actually, here's my actual car because I still have some pictures of it when I was thinking of selling it. You know, 2015 Mazda 3 hatchback, red. The thing's sporty. The thing's fast. It's a stick shift. Real fun car. It's got the alloy wheels. This is a $9,000 car. It has 110,000 miles on it. It'll probably run to 300,000 miles. And it's $50 a month to insure. You know, there's nothing wrong with this car. It looks even better in blue, but they didn't have blue when I bought it during the pandemic. But I never buy new cars. I always buy myself a used car, $15,000 limit, and I always pay cash for it. So I don't have to worry about having, you know, an auto loan or anything like that. It's cheap to insure. And I also have a 1993 Jeep Wrangler, which is freaking awesome. And that cost me $3,000, and I tinker on that. I tinker with that in the summer. It doesn't even really come out in the winter. My point is, all these people just buying these really expensive cars, and here's an article right now, auto loan rates hit 10%. So you get yourself a $50,000 car, you put nothing down, you're going to end up paying like $80,000 for that car by the time you pay it off. It's stupid. And I think Americans need to like pull their heads out of their asses. And there's so many videos right now of people complaining about their car loans. I mean, here's a video right here of this girl talking about people with $700 a month car loans. It just makes no sense.
Getting behind these $700 car payments. Every time I work on budgets and I see any car payment, even above like $600, I want to like choke on my own vomit. And before you say, just the average car is like $35,000, I don't care. You don't need a $35,000 car. You want a $35,000 car. The most expensive car I ever bought was a 2015 Mazda 3. I bought it in 2016 for $14,000, like walking out the door, and my car payment was $315.15. And I thought,
wow, I like her taste. She has my same exact car. That's really, really cool. Although she is annoying. This woman's very annoying. But she's making a point, guys. And if you have $5,000 to put down on a $50,000 car, you can get a car for $5,000. They have $5,000 car lots or $5,000 and under car lots. You can get yourself a Toyota Camry with 100,000 miles on it that'll last another 100,000 miles. Toyota Corolla, a very old Mazda 3. Before I had my Mazda 3, I had a Mazda 5 van. I got that thing for $5,000. I put 100,000 miles on that car. I bought it at 100,000 miles. I put another 100 on it. Not one problem. Of course, I do my own brakes. I do my own oil changes. My point is, this is what's killing America, and it's what's killing people from saving any money. And it's become the American way. Like, people have to buy the biggest, most expensive house, which is stupid. People have to buy the biggest, most expensive car. If you're making $50,000 a year, like, you spend your entire paycheck on your mortgage and your car. Why would you do that? And I know a lot of guys do it for like bling. Like I said, they want to impress girls. Girls don't care about any of that. I mean, girls, it's more about your personality and the way you look. I mean, now if you're driving some 1982 Toyota Corolla with rust all over it, yeah, that might turn you off. But if you're driving my Mazda 3, I mean, come on, this is a nice car right here. I mean, it almost looks like a BMW, and I got the tint on it and everything. So my point is, there are ways to buy cars for cheap. You don't have to be buying these $40,000, $50,000 cars. And even if you don't have any money to put down whatsoever, if you finance $5,000 or $6,000, that's like $50 a month. So there's ways to buy cheap cars. So whenever I see these people, and all these people I see with these expensive cars don't make a lot of money, but they want to show it off. You know, I saw something else the other day where this woman, she bought a Tesla, and I think she makes good money, but she was wondering why her car insurance went from $100 a month to $300 a month. But did you do any research on this Tesla where these things are almost impossible to repair? If you get in a car accident, they pretty much have to total it, and it's made everybody's insurance go up. And we'll make another video on that, about how these electric vehicles are destroying the insurance market and making everybody's rates go up because these vehicles are so expensive. Like if you crash into a Tesla, they have to total it because they can't fix it. the insurance company has to pay out $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. So, but there's a lot of videos like this. But my point is, you don't have to be buying these expensive cars. You're doing it because you want to show off in your expensive car. You're not impressing anybody. Nobody cares. And if you're a guy, you look like a douchebag. And when I see these guys buying these BMWs and Mercedes, I'm a guy who works on my own cars. I know how low quality these BMWs are. They're all made out of plastic. They're unreliable. I see these Range Rovers that are like the biggest pieces of junk on the world. I just laugh at these people. So anyway, a lot of the problem with the car payment loan situation and the cars getting repossessed, it's Americans are doing it to themselves. So it's time for America to pull your heads out of your asses and just figure it out. Buy a cheaper car and you'll have low insurance rates and you won't have a giant car payment, and then you'll have more money to save, and then you can buy yourself some Bitcoin. And that's what you should be doing. So speaking of Bitcoin, it looks like Bitcoin is 42,237 right now. Yeah, prices are going down. I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin goes under $40,000. I think it has to happen. I'm actually bored with crypto right now, so I'm not even really thinking much about it in January. I have like other things on my mind. We had the entertainment the last couple months, meme coins, altcoins. I feel like until the halving, we're not going to get too much. I could be wrong. It's crypto. Anything can happen. But I'm not anticipating much. All right, guys, like and subscribe. Talk to you later.